What's up, everybody? My name is Tim Stoddard with Stodzymedia.com. Today is episode 41, and welcome to Stodzyland. Today, we're going to go over a lot of information. This video might be a little bit longer, but we're going to cover some really important stuff. Today, we're going over important ranking factors for SEO and search engine optimization. So, SEO has always been a little bit mysterious. Google and other search engines don't really tell us what the factors are to get websites ranking high up in the search engine's results pages are. So pretty much it's just been people trying stuff and trying to figure out what works. If they make this change, do they rank higher up in the search engines for a certain keyword? If they make this change, do they go down? What are other people doing? So it's been a lot of experimentation. There's tons and tons of information on what people say you should do. We have spent a lot of time doing our own case studies, and we've pretty much come up with just 4 basic things that you need to do in order to get your website ranking. It should be said right from the get-go that SEO is different from social media in that it's not, and also pay-per-click, in that it's not an instant thing. If you want to get your site to rank high on Google, then Google needs to see you as an authority, and that's just going to take some time. But if there is one thing that is worth taking the time and spending the money on, it's definitely SEO, because the benefits from getting your site ranking really high for a particular keyword are just so huge that it can kind of trump every other digital marketing tactic that there is. So with all that being said, there's tons and tons of stuff that people say you should do. We like to keep things simple here, so all of this is just very simple guidelines which are really going to help you. So let's get started. First and foremost, backlinks are the most important thing you can do. So I've thrown that word around a lot a few times. Here, right here, backlinks. I've thrown that word around a few times in these videos, and I had a couple emails of people asking me what they are. So this little diagram, say this is my website right here. You want to get links on other people's websites that when people click on them, go back to your site. It's quite literally a link on someone else's site that leads back to your site. So the reason that you want this is because these links that point back, when Google indexes the internet, they see these links and they see it almost as if kind of a boost in authority. So in the same way that when we were in high school and you used to have to write research papers and you needed your works cited or your bibliography at the bottom of it, that's kind of another way to consider a backlink. You're sourcing your information and you're sort of telling your users and Google, this is where I got this information, this is a site that can be trusted. And when Google crawls that, it boosts the authority of that site. So this site, my site, has gotten a boost of authority from these 3 sites with those backlinks. Now there's also a couple little sub-factors in there. The anchor text matters a lot. So the word that the actual link is, if you make that word very specific, so let's say you're trying to rank for something like SEO, a good SEO company, and you make the actual link say good SEO company, that matters. The domain authority of the sites that link back to you. So let's say that these are all brand new websites without really any traffic. Those 3 links aren't going to do a whole lot, but let's just say one of these sites is something like CNN.com, just like a monster website. That one link is going to really boost you up. Making sure that they're follow links, you can put little snippets of code in the back end to create a link that, yeah, when you click through it, it brings that person to the site in terms of the user, but it doesn't necessarily pass that authority through it. That's called a no-follow link. You want to make sure that those links are do-follow links. And then, of course, you want to be natural. So there's a whole lot of strategy behind this, but the idea is that Google wants to rank the sites that naturally are just the best. So if people do things to sort of manipulate the search engines, like, get a couple 100,000 links on some Russian websites that are just kind of huge directories, or pay people to put links on their sites. There's ways that they can figure all of that out. You don't want to do that because you'll get penalized. You just want to be as natural as you can. Provide the best information on your site so that people naturally link to it. That's number one. Backlinks are so important. I mean, it's got to be a quarter of the battle. With all the other ranking factors in the algorithm, backlinks probably takes up like 30% of the port. So, up next, number 2, on-page content. So, you have to understand that when Google ranks a website, or when they crawl a website, the actual words on that web page matter. Google looks at the words and they combine it all to kind of get a good understanding of what that page is about. So just being frank, you have to have words on the page if you want it to rank. So you can have a lot of backlinks pointing to your web page, but if there's nothing telling Google what that page is about, then they're not really sure what kind of information you're trying to provide. So you want to have content on the actual page. As well as the on-page content, there's title tags and description tags. These are little snippets of code in the back end as well. You just put a very specific amount of keywords in there, and those are kind of like little spoon feeders to Google. So your title tag and your description tag, you want to make sure you have content in those tags. You want to make sure they're filled out. If you have any questions about those, please email me. My info is going to be at the end of the video. How much content are you putting on the page? 200 words usually isn't enough. Sometimes it can be if you have a really monster website. Most of the time, we go for at least 800, 1,000. How much value are you providing? So having a bunch of fluff words doesn't really work anymore. Google is so smart, they can crawl pages and they can really see like how much information you provided on that page and what value that information is. So that matters. The words that you're using. So if you're trying to rank for something like carpets, and you're using words or talking about things that really have nothing to do with carpets, then Google's going to get confused. So you want to be very clear with your message on each specific page. Like each page needs to have a very particular message and a very specific niche of information that it's providing. And this is really more for blogs and not necessarily pages, but we've seen a trend over the last couple of years that real long form content ranks better. So we're talking about blog articles that are 10,000, 20,000 words, have almost different chapters that you can link and anchor down that cover a huge range of topics and information. There's some great resources about this on copyblogger.com. I've referenced them a few times, but long form content is becoming even more important. You can't just really crank out like 300 or 400 word blogs anymore. You have to really provide value with this long form content. So, number 3, this is kind of difficult to explain because you have to really study it. It's a very technical subject, but the site structure matters a whole lot for a couple reasons, but there's one really specific reason. When Google indexes your site, they have to be able to get through and see everything, and they do that through links. So the way you structure your website matters because it makes it very either easy or difficult for Google to access your site as a whole. So I'll link again in the description of this video. I've written an entire guide on the importance of site structure and how to do it, but you kind of want to do it like this, like a factor tree. So if this is your home page, you want to link out to your main pages. So if you're a service provider, then these main pages are probably the different kind of services that you provide. So for us, for Stodzy Media, you'll notice that on the homepage, you'll see search engine optimization, social media, web design, web development. Those are our main pages. And then from those pages, you can link out to other sub pages. So let's say you're Google and let's say you send a little robot and it goes through the homepage. It can easily go through the entire site. That really matters. It's so important. And if anybody, again, has questions about that, please email me because I'd be happy to explain how this all works. Google needs to see the website and make conclusions. So I put that down here. That's really what it's about. If you don't structure your site properly, then Google's going to get really, really confused. Finally, I put this one down here because I ran out of room. The user experience of the website matters more and more than it ever has. So you can follow all of these rules to appeal to the search engines, and you can really play the game and try to get the algorithms to like you. But if when people come to your site, they don't like your site, Google's going to see that and they're instantly going to know that you're doing all of this, but you're not creating a website that's good for the user. That's going to be extremely detrimental. So what are some ranking factors for user experience? Time on site. Right here. When people come to your website, how long are they staying on there? Are they interacting with things? Are they just coming to the homepage, maybe scrolling down a little bit and then leaving? That's bad. You don't want that to happen. You want people to come, you want them to click around, you want them to interact, you want them to find the information that is going to solve the problem that they have at that current moment, stay there, absorb that content, and then maybe leave. So the traffic. The amount of traffic matters. A good little quote that I put down here is Google doesn't make sites popular, Google ranks popular websites. So if you already have a site that has traffic, maybe you have a large email list, maybe you already have built a pretty good audience and you're getting some good interaction, that interaction is going to tell Google that you're an authority as opposed to doing it the other way around, trying to become an authority through SEO. So if you have traffic and if you have click-throughs, if people are coming to a page and they're clicking through to maybe a landing page and they're taking some action and they're filling out a submission, maybe they're leaving a comment on a blog post, all of that really matters as well. So, we covered a lot. This is a big, big topic, and it's also a very, very important topic because, like I said before, there's no tactic that can completely change your business quite like SEO can. Social media is great, but pretty much if you want to make money on social media, you got to spend money. Email is great, but it takes some time to build an email audience, and then you're always going to get new subscribers and unsubscribes. If you can nail down SEO and you can show Google that you are the authority in a particular subject, Google's going to keep you there and you're just always going to get traffic. You're going to be the solution to any problem that people have within your particular industry or niche or subject or whatever. And then that's the best traffic you can get because you're not putting yourself out there to people. People are coming to you. And there's just a whole different mindset there, and people are much likely to convert on a sale or convert on a phone call or convert on a lead form when you're the one that is answering their question. As always, email me right down here, tim@stodzy.com. Once again, stodzymedia.com. That's our website. Please check us out. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please like us. I really appreciate your guys' time, and I shall see you next time. Peace.